Find your server database configuration. The server configuration is part of the database settings audit and will allow you to change the server database's settings. You can access the server database configuration by using Enterprise Manager. Another way for you to view the server database configuration is by using the command sp_b option. Here are the steps on how you can find and modify your server database configuration. Enterprise Manager. You can use Enterprise Manager software to locate your server database configuration and change some of the settings there. Display all of the databases that are present on your server in Enterprise Manager. Choose the database that you want to configure and right-click on that database. Select Properties from the drop-down menu. Select the Options tab on the dialog box so that you can see the compatibility level. Compatibility level. The compatibility level of the database depends on the SQL Server that you are using. For SQL Server 7.0 database hosting, the compatibility level is set to 70, and for SQL Server 2000, the compatibility level is 80. You can opt not to execute your database in compatibility mode if your database is to run with its full potential. Database and transaction log. You can change the size of the database to match the final size to increase the performance of the programs. Change the size to something that is closest to the final size. For the transaction log, you have to do the same thing. For both the database and the transaction log, the default size is set to 10%. You configure this size to something that is larger, but this will result in a slower performance for the server. Before you make these configurations, you have to know the growth size. Performance audit. The compatibility level, database, and transaction log are only half of the settings that you can configure in database settings audit. There are also some other settings that you can change in the database options. You can also view these settings by using Enterprise Manager. Display all the databases on your server and right-click on the database you want to change. Click on Properties and select the Options tab. Database Options. You can change a lot of settings on the database options that will affect the overall performance of the server. Some of the options that you can change on the database options are auto_close, auto_create_statistics, auto_update_statistics, auto_shrink, read_only, and torn_page_detection. You can change these settings so that you can optimize the use of your server and your hardware. This is one way to find the server database configuration by using Enterprise Manager. You can choose to change the settings on the configuration to increase the performance of your system. This is only advisable to do if you know what you are doing. You can also check the settings of your server database against a performance audit checklist that you can get online. This is to compare the current values on the settings against the default values.